Welcome to a special episode of ITU Future Innovators. My name is Doreen Bogdan-Martin, and I'm the Secretary-General of the International Telecommunications Union. I'm so excited to be with you today with an amazing group of young people, and I think we'll start off by asking each of them to introduce themselves, where they're from, and where they're working in the ITU. Frank?
Thank you so much, SG. Thank you. My name is Franck Konan. I come from Ivory Coast. I work as a data scientist and also as Africa's partners, officer. So I work in TSB, the Standard Bureau, and I'm happy to be in ITU.
I'm Flora. I am from Ghana and I'm working in the Radio Communications Bureau of the ITU.
Hello, I'm Prateek Dubey from India. I work in SPM in WSIS and I work as a web developer there.
Hello, my name is Tadala. I am from Malawi and I work as a junior analyst in the Regulatory and Market Environment Division in the development sector.
Awesome. So let's get into today's conversation. I'm really excited to speak to this amazing group. What we're going to be talking about is a very important upcoming conference, the Plenipotentiary Conference. We call it the PP, the ITU PP. It's going to take place in November in Doha, Qatar. Just to briefly recap, the Plenipotentiary Conference is the highest organ of the ITU. It gathers every 4 years our 194 member states, and it lays out the future direction actions for the Union in the form of our strategic plan and accompanying financial plan. It's also really important because of the Plenipotentiary Conference. The member states elect the senior leaders, of which we have 5 of the ITU. We also elect the ITU Council. We have 48 ITU Council members. And we also elect the Independent Radio Regulations Board, and we have 12 members of that board. And so I wanted to turn to our young professionals here at the ITU and maybe just to ask them, what does it mean for you when you think about the ITU Plenipot? And I think, Frank, I'm going to start with you if I can.
I think the PP for me is a great potential meeting where the members get to meet together and set up strategy for the next coming 4 years.
Well, thank you for that. And I'm going to turn to my other amazing colleagues here. But also just to mention that something that we've been trying at the ITU through our Young Professionals program, but also through other actions and initiatives, is to make sure our discussions are always inclusive. Make sure that we have everybody at the table, and that includes young people. And so it would be great to also hear your thoughts on what you would like to be seeing at the Plenipotentiary.
For me, honestly, it will be a key agenda for the Plenipotentiary Conference. I would like to see that PP-26 ensures that digital transformation is not only inclusive, but genuinely usable. And it's personal for me because growing up in Ghana, I saw how some technologies could affect people's lives for the better. I also saw that in the same vein, there were some solutions that looked amazing on paper, but they did not translate to the ground. So this whole experience has stayed with me. And I realized that if we want to make technology really usable, we have to focus on needs. We need the technology to firstly be accessible, it should be understood, and then it should be able to be used to better people's lives. So that's my focus for PP.
Accessible, understood, and bettering people's lives. I think that's a great message. Prateek, over to you.
Growing up in India, I have seen in the last 10 years the kind of digital transformation a country has seen from a very limited number of people being able to access the internet. Now almost everyone in India has access to internet. They can voice. They have a platform to put out their voice, to shape government's policies, to to act as pressure groups on different businesses if they are not following the sustainable development goals. So yeah, technology and the Plenipotentiary Conference, which will decide the strategy of the next 4 years, how technology will lead the world. I've seen that, and I expect more to happen, and how more young people and how more people from different ethnicities, different backgrounds come together and have a platform to have a voice on that.
So important to have that platform and to have a voice. Tadala, over to you. Yeah.
Well, I too am very excited about this year's Plenipot, especially because I think that I'm seeing, for example, the Resolution 198 being translated into reality just by the fact that there's young people sitting here in ITU today contributing to the work that we're doing. And I want to continue to see more of this at the Plenipotentiary, and especially to see young people in ITU being involved. um, from history, we heard that ITU was a place where there's senior engineers, telecommunications, that people have been in the industry for 20 years plus. But now we get to integrate the voice of the youth through programs like the YPP internships. We have different JPOs that are around, and to see the PP coming together and bringing all of these young people at the table and having our voices heard through the different work that we do, our research and everything that is contributing, because PP doesn't exist in a vacuum. It comes from the contributions that are there from the GSR, the WISIS, the WTDC. So all of these past 4 years, shaping the next strategy for the next 4 years, it's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing, and especially looking forward to seeing young people taking a leading role in the digital transformation agenda.
So let's stay with that point for a second. I'm gonna stick with you, Tadala. In terms of the preparatory process for the Plenipot, what role do you see the young staff in the ITU playing in terms of the preparatory process? Any thoughts?
Yeah, excellent. I think we're all already actively working towards PP because, like I said, the Pleniport doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's something that we have been working towards, building towards. All of the data that we collect here at ITU, all of the events that we have been having, all of the conferences that bring people together, we're pulling people to talk about the problems, the issues that we're facing in the digital transformation agenda that we have. And already young people are doing amazing work in the research that we're doing, the reports and our lived experiences. We're contributing actively towards PP. I think that we can just continue to actively form the agenda with the organizers as we're preparing towards PP, so that we can actually bring those lived experiences into the agenda. The voices of the young people need to be portrayed in the agenda.
Yeah, absolutely excellent. And Prateek, do you want to comment on that? I mean, what do you see from your perspective?
Yes. So I see that as Tadala mentioned, that we are kind of living embodiments of Resolution 198. Because of that resolution, we are here and we got a place at the table, and we have obviously our lived experiences. We young people, we experience technology, we experiment with it, and I've seen in my personal experience and while working here that all these experiments, all these different kinds of use cases, I share with my team members, and they're happy to learn from me. And like for instance, AI, how we can use them to generate media, or how we can generate code and everything. So yeah, and as also she said that WISIS and different forums are there. So uh, our lived experiences, which are added into the agenda, are then will lead to have a better future, and will lead to have better insights for our leadership to have to create better policies. So that's what I think.
Excellent, excellent. I love that. Great ideas. Maybe shifting a little bit in terms of the plenipotentiary agenda. So it's a big agenda. If you had like one top priority that you think has to be on that agenda when you think about connectivity and digital development, maybe Flora, turning to you, what would that like top priority be?
To build up on what I was talking about, it would be the genuine usability of digital technologies. We should be able to involve youth and probably people in underserved areas in decision making and in conversations leading towards emerging technologies. And it would be wrong for me not to mention that even as this is going on, emerging technologies should also be governed in a way that is sustainable. And PP-22 did some amazing work on sustainability, I think Resolution 219. And it would be great for PP-26 to build up on the foundations of PP-22 to make this a reality.
Excellent. I love that. The accessibility, the sustainability. And I think it's amazing that you guys have all your resolution numbers down pat. That's also terrific. Frank, what about you? In terms of like number one priority that you want to see on the agenda?
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to say one, but let me say two. I would like to say, let's say, digital inclusion and ethics. I mean, digital inclusion, by digital inclusion, I mean, for example, make sure that no one is left behind in this new area of technology. For example, in ITU, we are doing an amazing job in TSB where we run machine learning and 5G challenges that make sure that we include everyone, especially from developing countries. Uh, we have statistics where we have data, and we can see that we have more than 155 member states, including like the top leading from Nigeria, Kenya, which makes sure that we go to the people on the ground to bring them on board. So this is amazing. We should continue on that track. We should strengthen, what to say, to highlight on those actions we are doing, to those hackathon we are doing. It will be very great. By ethics, I mean like ethics is not an option for me. It is a must. Technology and science without ethics is not a technology, because the technology should be based on human value. Like we make technology for the good of the humanity. So yeah, so young people, they need guidance, they need frameworks to guide them.
Yeah, I think that, putting people at the center, putting humans at the center, the ethical approaches, the need for responsibility, I would say, when it comes to tech development, and of course, your points on inclusion. And I was going to pick up specific on the digital divide and the points about inclusion. What do you think our young professionals can do to address those digital divide angles from a youth perspective?
Yeah, that's pretty one. So I think young professionals are really privileged, like myself being the first cohort of ITU, young professional. I've come from the down, let's say from the ground. So and today I'm in ITU, so I know the reality. I know the cost, the affordability issue that people have in the local market. So we can kind of bring, like, we can be like ambassador of those people from the ground. We can go on mission, and then we can explain to people what do ITU mean by this standard, what do ITU mean by that policy, and so on, so that it brings them value for the local market. For example, I went to Abidjan in Ivory Coast, where I come from, and I went to the people. I gave a conference on that university, one of the university, and I explained to them what are the challenges, machine learning challenges and AI challenges we offer in ITU, so that I bring on board more French community to the challenges. Yeah, so that's one point. And second point, I think also young professionals can help in uh, uh, let's say designing modular courses on like platform which we have already AI Skill Coalition, which is a free platform where people can learn from. We have ITU Academy, and where people can also learn from. So we can contribute to those platforms with our experience from the ground and also in the institution.
No, thank you so much. And the point about the opportunities that exist also within the ITU and promoting awareness, like the Skills Coalition, I think that's a really good point. Tadala, do you want to also comment on that? that question?
Yeah, sure. For me, I would also say, as a young professional, I see when we talk about the digital divide, it's in different dimensions because there's the digital divide in age gaps. You know, you'd think that because you're in a developed country, everyone has the skills, the digital skills, but there are young people who have grown up in the digital space, and there are older people who grew up before, as my mom would say, the .com generation. And these are also people that need to develop these skills. So as young people, I think we need to come in to bridge these gaps, which also reminds me of the various initiatives that are happening within ITU, where we have this reverse mentorship, where young people can demystify certain technologies, AI, or what is happening today. I think that is the role that we can play. And especially our generation, we stand at a unique standpoint where we grew up in an age where technology was evolving, whereas others have grown up in technology mature environments, so they don't know certain things. So I think we're there to bridge that gap in the digital divide. To echo Frank and Prateek and Flora's sentiments, where we need to bring the lived experiences. Where I come from, affordability is a key issue in the digital divide, whereas in we're talking about other countries, developed countries, their biggest issues may be things like AI, where it is not an issue in Africa because we can't even afford data. So bringing in those lived experiences in our work, in the, like I said, the data, the research that we continue to develop, those are the things that can produce evidence-based material to help policymakers make the right decisions or build the right standards for the technologies that we're building. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the point about those lived experiences and the fact that context matters, right? As you said, affordability being one of the biggest challenges you face in your community, in your country, that we have to kind of contextualize some of the work that we do. And certainly we can't say one size fits all. That's pretty clear. But if I can maybe shift a little bit, and I'll come to you first, Prateek, on that. If we look at the Plenipot, right, and we look at the decisions that that conference will make, we'll have a strategic plan 2028 to 2031. And so if you were to express kind of your hope in terms of what the ITU will be able to bring or to build in our digital world. So think ahead to 2031, and what would you like this Plenipot to do to ensure that we have a better digital future by 2031?
Okay, so to build up on Tadala's answer, that and regarding context, the context matters. We talk about how 2 billion people are still offline, but 6 billion people are online, and they have access, but they lack literacy, digital literacy. And which eventually leads to not having that agency. They are consumers of media, they're consumers of content online, the consumers of other products, but they're not able to create on their own because they don't have that agency, they don't have the resources to do that, and they're not able to reap the benefits of that digital economy. So from PP-26, I would expect my hope is that it gives us a roadmap that would give us a definitive bridge that would lead us from just digital access to digital agency, so that every young innovator has access to create and be part of this digital economy.
Okay, I like that digital agency. I'm going to use that. Thank you. Flora, over to you.
It's my hope that PP-26 would be able to empower the next generation to create tools, to create technologies that actually would cause impact in our societies. That is a summary of what I am expecting from PP-26.
Excellent. Very concise. I love that. Frank, over to you.
I wish that this PP-26 agenda delivers like bold, actionable items that can leverage let's say digital transformation for the human, that is a digital transformation that is also inclusive and also leave no one's behind, as we said, no matter where you are from, no matter your geographic location, no matter your age, your sex, no matter who you are.
Great. I love that. Tadala, over to you.
My wish for PP-26 is to come up with, like, I think it's it's what we're all saying in essence, to have human-centered resolutions that everyone, all of the member states can relate to in their different contexts. So it's basically about trying to find some common ground to see how we can forward this agenda of not leaving anyone behind, so that everybody moves with the age of digital transformation. Yeah.
Like that. Everybody has to move, right? Okay, I think it's almost time to wrap up. So for the wrap up, I'm going to ask you each to just like kind of in one sentence, whether it's your hope or your wish, let's hear from you kind of one sentence in terms of your biggest wish. Again, looking at the Plenipot, what would that be?
Standards. I'm in TSB, so I'm speaking in terms of TSB a bit. So I hope that our standard delivers local impact. Like we make sure that people really adopt the standard. So we support them through our BSG program, which is bringing the standardization gap, which is an amazing program.
In one sentence for me, it would be taking a leap towards connecting the unconnected.
Let's take a leap, Prateek.
So
No.
we talk about affordability and infrastructure, but what sometimes we miss is that the content online is not in local languages. Mostly it's in English. So a lot of people are not able to access it. So I would wish PP to strategize so that we can have more content in local languages.
My wish for PP-26 is to have forward-looking policies that can, in today's fast-moving world, that can help adapt to the new technologies that are coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so inspired, and I must say I learned a lot. You guys have been terrific, and I think we've covered kind of the whole range when we think about digital transformation, when we think about the challenges that countries face and the opportunities. You have mentioned things like accessibility, sustainability, affordability, responsibility, safety, inclusion. I think we've covered the whole thing. So let's together make sure that we bring these voices to the Plenipot, and that together we can actually shape a digital future that includes everyone, everywhere. Leave no one behind. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute delight and pleasure. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Future Innovators. Thank you.